From the newsroom at news.com.au.
Hey, I'm Lexi Cartwright.
And I'm Andrew Bucklow.
And this is the latest from the newsroom. It's Friday the 21st of May.
Let's start in the Middle East. Israel and the two main armed groups in Gaza have agreed to a ceasefire. The Israeli Prime Minister's office said the Security Cabinet had unanimously accepted the recommendations to accept an Egyptian initiative for an unconditional ceasefire. Hamas and Islamic Jihad then confirmed the ceasefire in a statement, bringing an end to 11 days of violence.
In other news, a Sydney man whose brother became the third Australian to die of COVID in India has made a plea for the federal government to help bring his father to Australia. Sunil Khanna returned to India to look after his parents but caught COVID and died in hospital in New Delhi in late April. His mum died from COVID the next day. Now the family's 83-year-old father remains in New Delhi alone.
In other news, a number of Australian states and territories are now trialling 30km/h speed limits and zones. WA, New South Wales and Victoria have all implemented the measure, with several other states reportedly considering a trial. Now, researchers found that 30km/h speed limits on residential streets could reduce the national road toll by as much as 13%. Now, get this, the chance of someone surviving being hit by a car being driven at 50km/h is only 10%, but that jumps to 90% if the car is going at 30.
To sport, Israel Folau wants to make a return to rugby league and he has the backing of billionaire Clive Palmer. Folau wants to play in the Gold Coast local A-grade competition. Clive Palmer has sent a letter to Queensland Rugby League urging them to allow Folau to play for the Southport Tigers, which is the club that Palmer supports. The two men are set to hold a press conference this morning.
That'll be interesting. To royal news now, a damning report has found Princess Diana was duped into giving her bombshell Panorama interview in 1995. A six-month inquiry confirmed BBC journalist Martin Bashir commissioned fake bank statements and used deceitful behaviour to get the interview. Bashir has apologised, saying it was a stupid thing to do and he deeply regrets it. Now, the interview sent shockwaves through the royal family at the time as Diana opened up about her failed marriage to Prince Charles.
Do you think Mrs. Parker Bowles was a factor in the breakdown of your marriage?
Well, there were three of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded.
And finally, you might have heard Matthew Perry tell a story in the past about hanging out with director M Night Shyamalan, only to realise later on it wasn't actually M Night.
How awkward.
Yeah, well, the story has taken another big twist. Have a listen to what M Night told Graham Norton.
So he went on your show and he tells this story of being out with me all night. And then at the end of the night, he's having the greatest time. And at the end of the night, he meets one of his friends and his friend's like, how's it going? And he says, it's the greatest night of my life. I've been hanging out with M Night Shyamalan. And then the guy turns and says, that's not M Night Shyamalan. And he's been hanging out with a random Indian dude all night long. So that's the story that Matthew told when he was on your show.
Yeah.
So then I'm watching it and here's the twist. We did actually hang out. That's actually what's so astonishing.
So it was him all along. Matthew Perry, what are you thinking? That's it from the newsroom. We'll be back in the afternoon with another update.
Your update from news.com.au.